Where to even begin when it comes to the prosecution's new bombshell filing in the Sean Combs case? You know why they say he shouldn't be released before trial? While locked up, they allege that he has been trying to improperly contact victims, witnesses, and other people, is trying to taint a future jury, and is employing his family to do his bidding. We got to break all this down and what it means for Sean Combs, and we're going to sit down with celebrity criminal defense attorney Bradford Cohen. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, so there are bombshells after bombshells in the government's new filing in the Sean Diddy Combs case, the sex trafficking, racketeering, prostitution case. I don't need to repeat all the allegations. You know what they all are by now. But prosecutors from the Southern District of New York submitted an opposition brief to Sean Combs' motion for bail that they are hoping that this new judge, in this case, Judge Arun Subramanian, will hear. And as we're going to lay out, prosecutors say not only is Sean Combs not entitled to bail, but essentially he shouldn't even get a hearing on this. And remember, Combs is currently in detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn, New York, after being denied bail by other judges. The main issues keeping him locked away are that the courts have held that the prosecutors have shown that he is a danger on the outside, he's a potential flight risk. Most notably was evidence put forward that he had been improperly contacting victims and witnesses in this case. And as we discussed on previous sidebars, Sean Combs' counsel has denied all this. They've indicated that all of those conversations were not done with the intent to engage in witness tampering or obstruction. And even, at least they say, one witness had contacted Combs, not the other way around. Well, the government has come out with new evidence of its own to justify pretrial detention. And now, let me just read you this from the beginning of their brief. They say, while attempting to evade law enforcement monitoring, the defendant has, among other things, orchestrated social media campaigns that are, in his own words, aimed at tainting the jury pool, made efforts to publicly leak materials he views as helpful to his case, and contacted witnesses through third parties?
Even behind bars, Diddy is allegedly pulling strings, manipulating witnesses, and silencing victims? Yes, you heard that right. Shocking FBI revelations have unveiled that Diddy might be orchestrating blackmail and tampering with ongoing investigations from his jail cell. Despite being confined, the music mogul is accused of using secret phone calls, encrypted apps, and even other inmates' accounts to dodge prison monitoring systems. How is someone under such tight surveillance managing to carry out these alleged schemes? And who might be helping him execute these plans? The FBI has traced payments made to other inmates for phone privileges, cryptic messages exchanged through unauthorized apps, and an unsettling pattern of influence aimed at witnesses and victims. These findings suggest that Diddy isn't just defending himself, he's allegedly taking justice into his own hands, attempting to reshape the narrative of his legal battles.
Since being in custody, the defendant has deployed family members to carry out obstructive conduct on his behalf, as evidenced by jail calls. The defendant asked family members to reach out to potential victims and witnesses, create narratives to influence the jury pool, and pursue marketing strategies to sway public opinion. So that's what we talked about before. This next part is fascinating because I think we may have an idea of a potential key witness in this case. So the prosecutors, they address Combs' claims that his contacts with any potential witnesses were innocuous. Prosecutors say, no. They write, the defendant also claims that the defendant's contacts in September 2024 with an individual represented by counsel who wanted to make a public statement, witness 2, were not in any way obstructive because the defendant and witness 2 were previously in frequent contact. However, the contact between the defendant and witness 2, who were bandmates, stopped in March 2024. And from the timeline and the context of the defendant's contacts with witness 2, it is clear that when the defendant reinitiated contact with witness 2 in September 2024, his purpose was to ensure that witness 2 was on his side and to pressure witness 2 to make a public statement denying allegations of violence by the defendant. The defendant reached out to witness 2 on September 11, 2024, and sent her a copy of the lawsuit against the defendant in which witness 2's name was mentioned several times. The defendant then called witness 2 and they spoke for nearly 6 minutes. After reading the lawsuit, witness 2 called the defendant back at his request and they spoke for over 4 minutes. Evidently, the defendant and witness 2 discussed witness 2 drafting a statement, as immediately after the call, the defendant told witness 2 in a text message, and then that's redacted, But then they go on to say, from September 11, 2024 through September 15, 2024, the defendant and witness 2 exchanged multiple texts and had multiple calls, at least 128 phone contacts in total. Witness 2 ultimately made a statement about the lawsuit via an Instagram post on September 13, 2024. Now,
but what do these allegations mean for the case? Will this lead to additional charges, and how deep does this scandal go? In this video, we'll break down the evidence, reveal the methods Diddy is accused of using, and explore the impact on victims, the legal system, and his own defense. This is not just about one man. It's about power, privilege, and the lengths some will go to maintain control. So, buckle up and stay with us until the very end. You won't want to miss the explosive details that might change everything we know about this case. By the time we're done, you'll see why this story is sparking outrage and demands for justice.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes.
The what?
All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes.
Okay.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Yeah.
Did Jay reach out yet?
Nah, Bob. He ghosting.
What the f is this motherfucker doing? These things sweet now because I'm in here.
It's all good. You about to get out on bail.
Nah, hey yo, check this out. Need you to reach out to the producer. Let these motherfuckers know there's a release date for that new Netflix movie.
Alright, Pop. It's fucking crazy right now.
Everybody out there quiet as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
What about all these lawsuits though, Pop?
Ain't none of them getting shit. I ain't worth nothing. Ain't got shit in my name anyway. Don't even worry about it. Bunch of money hungry bitches and shit.
The explosive FBI revelation: blackmail from behind bars. The FBI has recently revealed alarming allegations that Sean Diddy Combs, currently detained in the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, has been orchestrating blackmail schemes from behind bars. Despite being in a federal facility with strict monitoring protocols, Diddy is accused of leveraging secret communication methods to reach out to victims and witnesses. These communications reportedly included threats and coercion to influence their testimonies or silence their voices entirely. According to prosecutors, Diddy used encrypted messaging apps, unmonitored phone lines, and third-party facilitators to bypass standard jail protocols. This alleged blackmail campaign is said to have targeted individuals tied to his ongoing legal troubles, creating a chilling atmosphere for those seeking justice. By exploiting these communication channels, Diddy has not only violated prison regulation, but also raised significant questions about the effectiveness of the justice system in curbing the power of high-profile inmates.
Happy birthday to Daddy.
I love y'all so much.
We love you too.
Love you, Pastor.
I can't wait to see y'all.
Diddy speaks out from prison in a phone call with the Combs kids on his 55th birthday.
My birthday, I'm happy. Thanks to y'all giving me this call. Thank you very much. I love y'all.
Love you more. Can't wait to see you in a couple of days.
I'll see y'all in a couple of days.
Say it again.
What you say?
I love you, Daddy.
Yeah.
I love you too, baby.
I'm dealing with daddy emotions.
Diddy's son Justin sharing the video on Instagram, cutting a cake alongside his brothers Quincy and Christian, sisters Delilah, Jesse, and Chance.
Chance is right here too, if you can hear. On the phone. One more time.
Hey, Chance.
Happy birthday.
And of course, 2-year-old Love.
The implications of these actions are vast, highlighting systemic weaknesses in the oversight of celebrity detainees. They also underscore the challenges victims face when standing against influential figures with substantial resources. For Diddy, these allegations add another layer of complexity to an already high-stakes case, potentially leading to additional charges that could significantly impact his legal defense. How does Diddy's alleged behavior highlight broader concerns about justice for victims when powerful figures are involved? And what measures could be implemented to prevent such tactics in the future? Third-party phone tactics. How Diddy evades monitoring. The methods allegedly employed by Diddy to evade jail monitoring systems reveal a sophisticated and deliberate strategy. Prosecutors claim that Diddy used phone accounts belonging to other inmates, effectively masking the origin of his calls. These accounts were reportedly accessed through payments made to inmates, offering them financial incentives to share their privileges. Additionally, Diddy is accused of utilizing unauthorized messaging apps such as Contact Me ASAP, a platform designed to obscure communication trails. By leveraging this technology, he was able to communicate with individuals outside the jail, including family members, associates, and even witnesses tied to his case. This not only violates prison regulations, but also demonstrates how influential individuals can manipulate systems to maintain control even from behind bars. These allegations bring to light significant loopholes in jail security protocols, particularly when dealing with high-profile inmates who possess vast resources. It raises concerns about whether existing systems are robust enough to prevent misuse and what reforms may be necessary to address these vulnerabilities. How can the justice system ensure that such actions are detected and prevented, and what penalties should be imposed on those who exploit these gaps in oversight? Blackmail in action, manipulating victims and witnesses. Evidence presented by prosecutors reveals a disturbing narrative of blackmail and manipulation allegedly orchestrated by Diddy while in custody. According to reports, he contacted victims and witnesses with the intent of pressuring them into silence or altering their statements. These communications allegedly included veiled threats to expose sensitive or damaging information about his targets if they failed to comply with his demands.
They continue to say things that do not get them closer to what they want, which is bond. It's led to indictments. And if he can begin to introspect and kind of reverse engineer some of his choices and recognize it is my decisions alone that have led me here, and if I can communicate differently moving forward, maybe the ultimate sentence, even if convicted, could be better, perhaps could lead to bond eventually, but it can be very difficult in segregation. And his lawyers have to stop blaming and excusing and talking about how difficult the experience is, because here's what a judge is going to say. If you were so concerned about what these filthy living conditions would be like in a detention center, if you were so concerned about your safety, you wouldn't have obstructed justice. You would not have, according to the government, created victims over a sustained period of time. Until he changes his message, more problems are going to follow.
And Diddy allegedly has been accused of using different drugs in the past. Even prosecutors have said on the night he was arrested that there was allegedly pink cocaine in his hotel room.
There's no question. People who know they're going to prison who have been on medications, either illegal or illegal, it would be wise to understand the Bureau of Prisons might not prescribe you what you like. And if you're taking illegal drugs, unless you're engaging in the prison hustle, you're not going to get it. It would be easier to get the drugs and engage in the prison hustle in general population, but not when you're on lockdown for 23 hours a day. So certainly it is a brutal adjustment if you are on no drugs, but certainly if you are withdrawing, isolated 23 hours a day without getting things that you can get the snap of a finger, it makes the decision or the process that much harder, which is why I can assure you, based on what happened with Epstein, the high profile nature of the failures of this prison in the past, including some judges not even sending prisoners there because they were so concerned about their safety, you can expect staff is watching him, not 22, 23, 24 hours a day. They do not want more problems.
And this is a man going from private chefs and food from across the world to a set menu just like any other detainee or inmate.
The psychological impact of such tactics on victims cannot be overstated. Many have already endured significant trauma, and these new threats only compound their fear and distress. For witnesses, the pressure to conform to Diddy's narrative undermines their ability to testify freely, posing a significant challenge to the integrity of the legal process. This behavior, if proven, represents a blatant abuse of power and a direct attempt to subvert justice. It underscores the need for stronger protections for victims and witnesses, particularly in cases involving influential defendants. How can the legal system better protect victims and witnesses from intimidation? And what consequences should perpetrators face for such actions? Family involvement, aiding and abetting. The role of Diddy's family members in these allegations adds another layer of complexity to the case. Prosecutors claim that several of his relatives have been actively involved in facilitating his communications with witnesses and victims, acting as intermediaries to deliver messages and coordinate narratives.
Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, once known for his lavish lifestyle and living large in his multi-million-dollar mansions, has a new home as he awaits trial in his federal sex trafficking case. Last week, the Bad Boy Founder's defense team unsuccessfully fought to keep the music producer out of federal jail after his arrest. Now his new digs once house other high-profile inmates, including R. Kelly, Fetty Wap, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Diddy is currently housed at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, a stark difference from the glitz, glamour, and wealth in Hollywood and Star Island in Miami Beach, Florida. But MDC Brooklyn has been described as hell on earth, with horrifying conditions. The facility, which now houses Diddy, opened in the early 90s and is the only federal jail in New York City after the Bureau of Prisons closed its Metropolitan Correctional Center in 2021 after many issues came to light in the wake of Jeffrey Epstein's suicide just 2 years earlier.
If Sean Combs is focusing on things he cannot control, he will have a miserable experience. When he can call home, when he can visit, the living conditions, exercising maybe an hour a day, showering a few hours a week, if he fixates on that, it is going to be miserable, and every day will feel like a year. On the other hand, if he can learn from those who have come before him and master the experience, my business partner served 26 consecutive years for a nonviolent crime, including 8 years in the penitentiary. He never complained. He focused on his family, trying to prove worthy of the love and support of his family. If he can do that, the experience, it won't be easy. I'm not insane. It will be more bearable. The choice is up to him.
And as far as we know right now, he has been kept in solitary confinement, or the SHU right now, and he's been on suicide watch. How different is that experience from being in the general population?
It's much harder. If you like to be around people, you like communication, if you're an extrovert, and then suddenly you are isolated 23 hours a day on total lockdown, I'm not spinning that it's difficult. It will test the strongest mind. But he has to understand others have gone through it and emerged successfully. And what he and his lawyers have to understand is they have like a messaging problem.
By participating in these schemes, whether knowingly or unknowingly, these family members could be exposing themselves to legal jeopardy. Their actions, if proven, may constitute aiding and abetting criminal activity or obstruction of justice, both of which carry serious consequences. This development raises significant ethical and legal questions. It also highlights the lengths to which influential figures and their inner circles may go to shield themselves from accountability. For investigators, determining the extent of family involvement will be crucial in building a comprehensive case against Diddy. What legal and moral responsibilities do Diddy's family members bear in this situation, and how should they be held accountable for their actions? Witness tampering allegations. Obstruction of justice. Tampering with witnesses is among the most severe allegations leveled against Diddy. Prosecutors have presented evidence, including text messages and call logs, suggesting that he actively sought to pressure witnesses into altering their testimonies or making public statements that aligned with his interests. Such behavior not only undermines the integrity of the judicial process but also constitutes a federal crime. Witness tampering carries significant penalties, including the possibility of additional charges and harsher sentencing. For Diddy, these allegations could further complicate his legal battle and diminish his chances of a favorable outcome. The evidence of tampering also paints a broader picture of the lengths to which influential individuals may go to protect their reputations and avoid accountability. For the legal system, addressing these allegations head-on is essential to maintaining public trust and ensuring justice is served. How can the justice system effectively address witness tampering in high-profile cases, and what safeguards should be implemented to prevent such actions? Social media campaigns. Controlling public perception. In today's digital age, social media plays a pivotal role in shaping public opinion, and Diddy's case is no exception. Prosecutors have accused him of orchestrating social media campaigns designed to sway potential jurors and influence public perception. One notable example is the controversial birthday video, featuring his children and designed to evoke sympathy. While such campaigns may seem harmless, prosecutors argue that they represent a deliberate attempt to taint the jury pool and manipulate public sentiment. By presenting a curated image of himself, Diddy may be seeking to undermine the prosecution's narrative and gain favor with the public. These actions raise critical questions about the ethical boundaries of using social media during legal proceedings. They also highlight the challenges courts face in ensuring impartiality in cases that garner widespread public attention. What impact do social media campaigns have on the justice system? And should stricter guidelines be enforced to prevent their misuse? The evidence trail. Damning phone logs and texts. The prosecution's case against Diddy is bolstered by a trove of phone records and text messages that reportedly link him to efforts to obstruct justice. These communications include hundreds of calls and messages exchanged with witnesses and associates, many of which prosecutors allege show a clear intent to manipulate the legal process.
Guys, they just released the entire list of everybody that's partied with P. Diddy, and did God knows what. And the list is long, I'm telling you, it is extremely long, and some of these names surprised me, and it's heartbreaking. Serena Williams, David Beckham, Victoria Beckham, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, Chris Brown, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Tyler the Creator, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Kris Jenner, Lupita Nyong'o, Sean Penn, wow, Tyrese Gibson, Zendaya, Big Sean, Michael B. Jordan, Future, Adele, Steve Harvey, Tiana Taylor, Floyd Mayweather, Dr. Dre, LL Cool J, Swiss Beats, Lala Anthony, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds? They got Deadpool?
The evidence is damning, providing a detailed record of Diddy's actions and strategies while in custody. It strengthens the prosecution's argument that he has engaged in a pattern of behavior designed to subvert justice and maintain control over the narrative surrounding his case. For Diddy's defense team, challenging the credibility and interpretation of this evidence will be a critical aspect of their strategy. However, the sheer volume of communications and the explicit nature of some messages make this an uphill battle. How will this evidence shape the trajectory of Diddy's trial, and what does it reveal about his alleged attempts to influence the case? The defense's counter-argument, denials, and legal maneuvers. Diddy's legal team has consistently denied the allegations of blackmail, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice. They argue that many of the actions described by prosecutors are either misunderstood or taken out of context. For instance, they claim that the use of third-party communications is a common practice in jail and does not necessarily imply wrongdoing. Additionally, the defense has raised concerns about potential violations of Diddy's constitutional rights, including unlawful searches and the use of privileged information. If these claims hold up in court, they could lead to the suppression of key evidence, significantly weakening the prosecution's case.
Sean Diddy Combs is locked up in a federal jail that has been plagued by harsh conditions and violence. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn has seen multiple deaths in recent years. An inmate was stabbed to death in July, and several others have died by suicide. It's these reasons, among others, that Combs' lawyers are fighting to get him out of there. They want him released on bail rather than being kept in jail while he awaits trial on sex trafficking charges. Combs is just the latest high-profile defendant to be locked up at MDC Brooklyn. Before him, there were R. Kelly, Elaine Maxwell, and crypto scammer Sam Bankman-Fried. Maxwell complained about her treatment at the facility, which included round-the-clock checks in the wake of her associate Jeffrey Epstein's jail suicide. A few years ago, a week-long power outage in the dead of winter left detainees in drab, cold conditions. Judges have also raised alarms. They've pressed the Bureau of Prisons for status updates and implored the agency to fix things. One judge even refused to send some defendants to the jail. For now, Combs is one of about 1,200 people locked up at MDC Brooklyn. He's the highest-profile detainee at a place that's been described as hell on earth.
This counter-argument highlights the complexities of navigating high-profile legal battles, where public perception and procedural fairness are constantly at odds. It also underscores the importance of ensuring that both sides have a fair opportunity to present their cases. How might the defense's arguments impact the outcome of the trial, and can they effectively counter the allegations against Diddy? Legal stakes. Could new charges be added? The potential for additional charges looms large over Diddy's case. If the allegations of blackmail, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice are substantiated, they could lead to new criminal charges that carry severe penalties. These charges would not only increase Diddy's legal exposure but also complicate his defense strategy, making it more challenging to focus on the original allegations. For the prosecution, they represent an opportunity to strengthen their case and underscore the severity of Diddy's alleged actions. The addition of new charges also raises broader questions about accountability and the consequences of defying the legal system. For Diddy, the stakes have never been higher. What impact could these potential charges have on Diddy's legal strategy, and how might they shape the final outcome of the case? Broader implications. What this case means for justice. Diddy's case is not just a legal battle. It is a reflection of the broader challenges facing the justice system. From the misuse of jail communication systems to the influence of celebrity privilege, this case highlights systemic issues that demand urgent attention.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them.
Prosecutors say Combs punched and kicked his victims to try to keep them under control. He'd also, they say, filled them up with drugs like ketamine and ecstasy for long periods of time, even using incriminating records to try to manipulate his victims. Prosecutors say they discovered this wide range of evidence against Combs in several raids. They found things, they say, like AR-15s, narcotics, more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants.
The public's growing demand for transparency and accountability underscores the need for reform. Whether it's tightening oversight of high-profile detainees or reevaluating the role of social media in legal proceedings, this case has the potential to drive meaningful change. Ultimately, the outcome of Diddy's trial could set a precedent for how powerful figures are held accountable. It is a critical moment for the justice system, one that could reshape public trust and redefine the boundaries of accountability. Will this case pave the way for greater justice, or will it expose the limitations of the legal system in the face of wealth and influence? Today, we've peeled back the layers on Diddy's alleged schemes to blackmail victims and witnesses even from behind bars, from covert phone calls and encrypted messages to the troubling involvement of family members. These allegations shine a glaring light on the lengths some will go to silence the truth. As this case unfolds, it's crucial that we continue asking the hard questions. How is this being allowed to happen? Who else might be involved? And what will it take to ensure justice is served for the victims? Your voice and engagement are vital in keeping these issues at the forefront. If this video resonated with you, show your support by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. By doing so, you're helping bring attention to stories that matter and empowering victims to step forward without fear. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most unsettling scandals of our time. Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Your insights could make all the difference. Until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and keep standing up for what's right.